Welcome to Thursday Night Knives. Coming up, the TK, oh manaj, the TKL Agent 001 drops October 1st. We give away this beautiful 3-dog knife riot to one lucky Patreon Gentleman Junkie or channel membership Gentleman Junkie. And we're going to talk about if you could only have one folder. This has come up from time to time, but I want to refresh. I want to find out what you guys would keep if you could only keep one, or we'll widen this out. If you could get any knife, any one folder and keep it, it's one that's not in your collection, we will accept. What would it be? Pardon me, just had a big gulp of coffee out of my Terzuola mug. Did anyone get one of these? This thing is awesome. I love this mug. No one's allowed to use it in the house. Marco, good evening, sir. Good evening, Bob, Jim, and Junkies, he says. Good evening to you, man. I hope you're doing well. We have Dave with us. Dave, OG Blade Review, says, evening all. Great to be here to enjoy the knife savoring, enjoying and collecting hobby on Thursday Night Knives. Thank you, good sir. My one folder would be my Custom Knife Factory Terzuola Eagle Rock. Oh, yes. Yes, that's good. Speaking of Terzuola, right? Man, that's a beautiful knife. I've never actually held one. And I've only held one Terzuola custom in my life, and man, it was awesome. Carino1, how's it going, sir? Good evening, Jim, Bob, and fellow junkies. If I could have one, I'd have to stick with the knife that brought me into this world of modern clip folders. That's the Spyderco Native, a good choice. The Native Chief is awesome. I got rid of that one a while ago, and I regret it. Yeah, I do. But I regret a lot of knife sales. As a matter of fact, I've been posting a lot of collection selections recently, and looking back over past collection selections, there were 90 of them when I left off. A lot of them, at least half of them, I've gotten rid of, which is crazy. Craig Vincent, nice to have you here, Craig. Evening, Bob, Jim, and Junkie folks. Good evening to you, Craig. If I had to choose only one folder, it would be the Cold Steel Voyager XL Drop Point. Today on me tonight. In my pocket, today on me tonight. In my pocket, I've got a Voyager XL, the plain edge Vaquero. Got three Vaqueros. I love this knife. James Hart, nice to have you here, James. Evening all, he says. Good evening to you. Angry Tom's Hat Next Door. He's got a green background because he is our very first YouTube channel member. And what that means is he's a Gentleman Junkie. So he's in the running to win this tonight. If you want to become a member, you can go to Patreon, TheKnifeJunkie.com/Patreon and sign up there. Or if you want to become a member of the channel, go right down here where it says join. That's a dangerous thing. I'm not sure why I just did that. Go to join and you can sign up there. Thank you so much, Angry Tom. It is great to have you aboard, sir. You will be on the wheel of destiny as it spins this very same night. Pete Davidson, nice to have you here, Pete. Good day, blokes. Well, good day to you, sir. My choice would have to be the K390 Police 4, a knife you mention a lot. I know you love that one. I can cook with it, fight with it, build stuff with it. It gets sharp easily and stays that way. K390, no experience with K390. I love the way their K390 models look, though I like the color combos. Doug Bull, hi, Bob. Hi, Doug. It's good to have you here, man. Doug is also a Gentleman Junkie and also a very generous fellow who's given me some really cool stuff, to include this Blackthorn walking stick / shillelagh. You could lay some waste with that sucker. Angelo, nice to have you here, Angelo. 5 fires tonight. Thank you. I'll take that personally. Matt Lamana, nice to have you here, Matt. Happy Thursday Night Knives. Bob, Jimmy Notes, and fellow junkies. Out of pure emotional attachment, my 2004 Emerson CQC B. Now, is the B the waveless one, or is that the drop point, or is it both? But for a one and done, jack of all trades, my Hogue Ritter RSK. Yeah, that's a great one. That's a real great one. My first knife in Magna Cut. I think my first knife in Magna Cut was the American Blade Works, not that you asked, Model 2. And I like Magna Cut. Truth be told, though, I haven't used it hard enough to really be able to tell much of a difference, but that's the story of my collecting. James Hart says, for me, it would be my trusty Swiss Army Deluxe Tinker knife. Very nice. I love the compact. I'm so hooked on that. Every time I carry a Victorinox these days, it's the compact. Partially because it's got the little glasses screwdriver. And I don't wear glasses here because I'm close enough to the screen, but I wear glasses all day long. Pete Davidson says, I would have chosen some sort of Swiss Army knife, but I could always carry some tools separately to make my, to my folder, making the sack redundant. Yes, I think that's a good way to go. You could have I even count the Leatherman as a non-knife. I mean, TSA doesn't, but I do. Donald Fry, nice to have you here, Donald. We got all manner of gentlemen junkies with us tonight. Good evening, Bob, Jim, and fellow junkies. Tough decision, but if I could only keep one folder, it would have to be my Les George Talos. Oof, I love Les George. Absolute perfection. Yeah. Yep. I was flirting with some Les George knives at Blade Show. His the ones that not Series 7. That company. Oh, now I need to think of the company who makes his production stuff. Beautiful stuff. Sword XXXY. Good to have you here. Good day, Bob, Jim, and junkies. He says, good evening. Good day to you, sir. Timothy Chadwick. Nice to have you here, Timothy. Yes. Thursday Night Knives. Good evening, Bob, Jim, and junkies. Good evening to you, Timothy. I love your spirit and the cut of your jib, sir. Scott Winters, hello from Virginia Beach. He says, hello to you, good sir. When my daughter and I were there over the winter at Virginia Beach for a volleyball tournament, we were walking on the beach because we were staying right there. And we came across the Poseidon sculpture, and we did some really nerdy stuff. Poseidon, take me back to the sea. I was embarrassing her, basically, talking to Poseidon. So I love Virginia Beach. Cool place. Benedict Odie, nice to have you here, Ben. Drinking out of the Terzuola mug he sent me. Good evening, junkies. Another great day for knives. Ain't that the truth, sir? Dixie Wrecked. Nice to... Yes, I said it. Nice to have you here, Dixie. Hello, y'all. Well, hello to you. I see you're all excited. Happy to be here. That's a good way to be, especially as you get into your older years like I am. It's always good to be a Dixie Wrecked. Nice to have you here, sir. Terminator Joe, nice to have you here, Terminator. Good evening, fellow Legionnaires. Good evening to you, my good man. I don't have it out here, but I do have a lot of good cold steels out with me, and you're one of our junkies that makes me think of cold steel. Commander Raider Bell, good to have you here, Commander. Good evening. I bought an Uncle Henry finger knife a few weeks ago. What is it good for? You talk about the sharp finger? I would say it's good for everything. A lot of people like that knife. It's for hunting. I don't know. I'm not a hunter, but it would be a great self-defense knife, truth be told. And if you sharpen the back, it'd be even better. But I do like that design. Jim sent me a link to an auction that happened today that had an old school Uncle Henry sharp finger. It was very cool. Angry Tom's Hat Next Door. Thank you, sir. Hello, Bob, Jim, and junkies. If I could only have one folder, I would choose the Cold Steel Espada XL 7.5-inch blade with S35 VN. Time to go zombie smashing. That would be a great folder. That just might be it. The only thing is if you have to wear a suit or something, you'd have to put it in the waistband. The Maroni. Good to have you here, the Maroni. Just picked up a second Kaiser Phasmids in AEBL with the chocolate scales. Sounds delicious. It's the small fixed blade. I think I know which one you're talking about. It's one of the newer ones, and I like that Kaiser they do a lot of fixed blades, but I like that they're now getting more into the pocket carry fixed blades. Ben says that mug is fire. It is indeed, and my coffee, which I brewed 45 minutes ago, is still hot. Dixie says, if I had to pick, it would be the Spidey Chef. Just so good, in my opinion. Dixie, I had mine clip pointed and what do you call it? Convex ground by Mike Emler a couple years back. And man, that knife is even better. I like it that way anyway. Jammin Parker, good to have you here, Jammin. Evening all. My one folder would be the Benchmade 940. It finds its way into my pocket more than any other folder. I had a 940. I had a classic 940 with the green, with the purple accents. It was a great knife, Another one of those knives that I let go. Sometimes you just got to let it go. And you know how they say, if you love someone, set them free. If they don't return, they were never yours. Well, I guess that knife was never mine. Adrian Fighter 35. Good to have you here, Adrian. Good evening, Bob, Jim, and fellow junkies. Hope everyone is good. I hope you and your significant other are good, Adrian. If I had to pick only one folder, it would be the Cold Steel Espada XL G10 version. Excellent, excellent choice. Sword XXXY says, if I could only have one folder, it would probably be my Spyderco Endura. Great, great knife. That's one of my house chore knives. Definitely my painting knife. When I have to paint walls, for some reason, that's the knife that always makes it into my pocket. Terminator Joe says, may sound like a broken record, but it'd be the Cold Steel Espada XL with the polished G10. I don't have my XL, but I've been carrying, I don't have it out tonight, but I've been carrying this quite a bit over the last, I don't know, week or so. I love this knife. And I love how easily it goes in and out of the pocket with the smooth G10. Doug Bull says, Bob, for quality, strength, and memories, it's still my SOG Sidewinder. Excellent choice, Doug. I love that knife, especially the one you gave me, because there's also sentimental value, as you mentioned. Hero Sticks, nice to have you here, Hero. Evening, Bob, Jim, and all. Happy Thursday night knives. Best live of the week. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, sir. I do appreciate that. It puts wind in my sails. I don't watch too many lives. I just, but I really appreciate that. So I don't know what mine would be. James Hart says, well, if I carried tools, then it would be my trusty Buck 110. After all, it's a well-proven design. Indeed. I keep my Buck 110 on the desk now in the case. I love this thing. I love this. I got two 112s here too. Joseph S., nice to have you here, Joseph. Bob, Jim, and junkies, peace, he says. Peace to you, good sir. Donald Fry says, Les George's new production, Defiant 7. Thank you. I knew there was I was like Series 7. No, I think that's like a financial test. And then I was going with something 9. And I was like, no, that's Station 9. Thank you. Defiant 7. Defiant? Yeah. Lone Star Dowboy. Nice to have you here, Lone Star. Choosing one folder is a fool's errand. Couldn't agree with you more. However, I can narrow it down to one brand. Cold Steel, this is the way. I agree, man. I love my Cold Steel. I have a lot of it, and I have no plans on slowing down with the Cold Steel. I wish, like I've said with many other knives, but it's true with this. Cold Steel is on the no-sell list. I wish I had everything back that I sold. For instance, I just had to rebuy this. Will B., good to have you here, Will. He says, evening, Bob, Jim, and junkies. I don't know that I can choose only one folder. Right now, the only folder on me is my brand new Temco MG8020 XL. What is this? I love this full titanium beast. Okay, I have an 8020, an MG8020, but I didn't know they made an XL. How much bigger is it? How much L is it? Jacob Vargas, nice to have you here, Jason. Jacob, pardon me, people. Good evening, knife junkies. Good evening to you, good sir. Split and slices, we have Byron. Nice to have you here, Byron. He says, howdy, Bob, Jim, and junkies. How many times do I have to answer this? Cold Steel Recon 1 S35VN Magna Cut for my Archangel. Ooh. The Archangel, that's the Bally song, right? I want one. Want one. They're selling now a leather belt sheath for the Archangel that the knife just slips into. You can access it without, it just pressure fits in there. You can access it without undoing a snap. So you might want to check that out, Byron. Craig Vincent says, Bob, I'm sitting here unboxing my first pure dagger, a Cold Steel drop forged wasp. Those are so cool looking. It's wasp waisted, has a nice belly on both bevels, or on both sides of both edges. Such a beautiful knife. This thing is Pokesaurus Rex. Pokesaurus Rex. That's the technical name. That's the ancient technical name. Jason Small. Yo, I'm here. Jason, nice to have you here, man. Let's make trouble. Let's do, sir. Let's do. Capital idea. Pete Davidson says, I always carry a leather organizer that has a Knipex Cobra, Victorinox scissors, Leatherman T-shank, file, wood, saw, and hacksaw, a fancy pen, and a fancy Sharpie. What is that? I don't really need a Swiss Army knife. Pete, what is a fancy Sharpie? I've never heard of such a thing. Or are you talking about a fancy pokey Sharpie? Michael Elliott, nice to have you here, Michael. Good evening, Bob, Jim, and fellow junkies. Good evening to you, man. It's always a pleasure to have you with us. We got Nick. Nick says, love my auxiliary manufacturing Miguron coffin folder. So I am a big nerd. I don't have it here. It's over there. I am a big nerd, and I keep my Miguron fixed blade pocket Bowie on the strap of my backpack. And before people start losing it, here I have a big one to show you while I talk about it. And before you start losing your mind about me carrying around a knife on my backpack strap that someone could grab, if I lived in New York still, or if I lived in an urban environment where I'm walking around a lot of people, I would not have that on there. But I don't, so I keep it on there, and I like it. It's perfect little handy knife. Smaller than this, of course. Split and Slices. Thank you, man. With a nice, generous super chat. We appreciate that, sir. Bowie time, Bob, Jim, thanks for the content. My pleasure. My pleasure. Since you're talking about Bowie time, I've got the beautiful new, my beautiful new Hogtooth Knives Bagwell homage Bowie out here with the ringed Gidgee wood from Australia, and the W2 blade, and the Luke 8:17 inscription, for nothing is secret that will not be revealed, nor anything hidden that will not be known and come to light. I love that line. The truth is truth, and the truth will not die. It will outlive us all. And I'm quoting someone else now. But thank you so much, Split and Slices. I really appreciate that. And since you're doing that, I must salute you, sir. I salute you with this knife, and I'm going to do a swim by so you can check out the gorgeous hamon on that blade. Oh. And notice how the devil horn guard is sharp. Something pretty cool, I got to say. Because if it doesn't get you coming and going, it'll get you right there. Actually, they're pretty sharp, pretty pokey. But I love this thing. Thank you so much, Byron. I appreciate you, sir. I'm going to put it back in this beautiful leather sheath. He does sheaths just right. He even turned this belt stud on his lathe because he was unhappy with the belt studs. You know, that thriving market of belt studs he was not happy with. Hero Stick says, tough question. I'd probably go with my Birch Tree Blades Secant. That is a cool knife. That is a cool knife. Actually, Hero loaned that to me for a while, and I really liked it. Good balance between beauty and outstanding utility. And it's big. It's got like a 4-inch blade. Could be a good self-defense option in a pinch too. Good and stylish, no doubt. Todd Carr, good evening to you, good sir. Evening, everyone, he says. Todd Carr, north of the border. Jason Small, I do 2 folders a day, a working knife, and a nice, cool pokey to show off or end trouble. Yes, sir. 2 folders is good. What about a fixed blade? Do you carry a fixed blade? Just curious. This is a new gentleman junkie as well as of last week. Hey, Paisan. We got Victor Blades, by the way. Hey, Paisan, Jim, fellow junkies. Nice to be here. Well, it's good to have you here, Victor, as always. Angry Tom's Hat Next Door says, I picked up the Rosecraft Mud Creek Congress in Burlwood. One word, amazing. I have no doubt about that. I've been eyeing up their new Peanut. Is that them? Actually, that might not be them, the new Peanut. It might just be a traditional pocket knives blade, but I love the new little Peanut. I think that's Rosecraft. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think I am, actually, because just correct me if I'm wrong. Todd Carr says, 1 folder for me would be the AD10. Can tackle pretty much anything you throw at it, but I never carry just one. Todd, do you have the hollow ground from the first run, or do you have the flat ground? I'm asking for a friend. John Marchell, also a recent gentleman junkie, liking my Machine-Wise Sonora and Mojave. Very smooth. I know Machine-Wise. As a matter of fact, I can't picture their blades now, but I know that I recently started following them on Instagram, as I have been trying to amass all the people I was following beforehand, before I had to create a new account. Jerry Sieg, nice to have you here, Jerry. Good evening, Bob, Jim, and junkies. Hope everyone is doing well and staying sharp. I'm staying sharp. I know that. King of Knives, good to have you here, King. He says, it's a very difficult question, but I'm going to go with the Buck Marksman for my one folder. How cool. That was the Buck and G&G Hawk collaboration with the, what's the lock on the back? It's like a back strap lock. That's so cool and fidgety. Todd Carr says 8020 XL has a 4-inch blade versus the 4.5-inch on the regular and the slim. Okay, 4-inch. I love a 4-inch bladed knife. All these are 4-inch. I like them. Ben Odie says I'm fairly new to Demco, but I'd pick up an 8020 in crew wear. Ooh. Let me read this over again. Ben says, I'm fairly new to Demco, but I'd pick my 8020 in crew wear. That sounds awesome. Crew wear, I was working not with, but alongside a police officer today who I just knew was carrying a crew wear PM2 because I could see the pommel with a Lynch clip. And I wanted to start a conversation. Oh, you like knives? You're carrying but it would not have been appropriate at the moment, and then the moment was gone. But it was cool to see a police officer not carrying a Benchmade. Scott Winters says, like Lay's chips, I can't have just one. I feel you, man. I know what you're talking about. However, if we must, then a Cold Steel Recon 1 XL clip point. That's a good choice. That's a fine choice. Northern Knives. Mike, nice to have you here, sir. Hey, Jim, Bob, and Junkies. Happy Thursday Night Knives. And I haven't forgotten, Mike, you and I need to have a conversation about your possible future home. I have a fancy stainless steel Sharpie and 2 of the fancy pokey Sharpies. All right, so a stainless steel Sharpie, I'm assuming you can switch out the felt tip or the ink. Now, since Northern Knives is in the chat, this is from 3 Dog Knife, which is the in-house custom knife brand of Northern Knives. And this is the knife we're giving away to one of you gentlemen junkies tonight. One of you lucky junkies gets this. Here's the dog tag. This is K110, and it's got the beautiful black Cerakote and the beautiful black micarta handle. So comfortable. The size of this is perfect. And as I like to say every time I show this off, this could do double duty as a hunting knife or a fighting knife, really. And I'm told about the hunting aspect of it, not only from Mike, who makes knives up in Alaska, and so that always plays into it. And also Shane was talking about how great this front part would be for small game skinning. And then I look at it and like the angle of the handle to the blade and that recurved tanto and that secondary point, this would be a very nasty knife to come up against in a fight if you had to. You got jimping on the thumb, really, really nice. So we are going to shuffle the names and put them on the wheel of destiny, and someone tonight, one lucky gentleman junkie, will win this night. So thank you, Mike, for your generosity. We all appreciate it. Speaking of generosity, Victor Blades says, impossible for me to choose just one folder, but I can tell you what I'm loving immensely right now is the McNeese Dixon. Bob, what a knife. It is a chonker, but it is butter and vault-like. And it's always cool to buy knives from great people, and Mr. McNeese is awesome. He was on the show a number of years ago, and he was a great dude. The blade on the MG 8020 XL is about 4 1/4. It's about 4 1/8 inches. It's about 9 3/4 overall. Damn, that's a lot of Demco right there. What I was going to say, speaking of generosity, Dirk Pinkerton is going to make us a custom knife once this channel reaches 50,000 subscribers. That's quite a ways off, a little bit over 9,000, but we're going to get there, and can't wait. Or is it a little under 9,000 now? And this might be the knife. We just might end up going with a Razorback. So cool. Such a great knife. So be sure to join if you haven't already subscribed please. Terminator Joe was about to say something, and I interrupted him. Sorry, Terminator. Do you know when the Cold Steel Colossus is coming out? I'm hoping around late November. I do not, but I have not seen any advance warning of it. Usually Stick and Mr. Calculated Survival, whose name is escaping me at the moment, they do a lot of promoting of the new stuff. Adrian Fighter 35 says that badass hogtooth blade looks like it's for taking down mammoths. Yeah, it could be. It could be like human type mammoths. Split and Slices says awesome Coffin Bowie. Kudos hogtooth knives. Yes, indeed. He does beautiful work. You guys want an awesome custom fixed blade knife, whether forged or stock removed, you got to check out Matt Chase and Hogtooth Knives. 5-Door, how's it going, 5-Door? Another gentleman junkie says, greetings, Bob, Jim, and junkies, listening and lurking. One knife for me, the Umnumzan. Clip point or Tonto. I had to do a lot of lurking today. As a matter of fact, I joked that part of my job is lurking. I quipped. I wouldn't say I joked. I would say I quipped. Doug Bowles says, Bob, forgot to give greetings and salutations to all and Jim. Well, everybody, Doug says hi. He's here. And we love it when Doug's here with us. Pete Davidson says, the fancy Sharpie is a titanium. The other one is brass. Holder with a screw cap that accepts. Oh, okay, that's cool. A mini Sharpie. And also uses a full-size titanium one with a pokey bit on the end. Very nice, Pete. I need to up my Sharpie game, it looks like. I just use the standard plastic ones, like a schnook. Ira Hayes says, good evening, Bob, Jim, and junkies. Ira, always a pleasure having you here with us, sir. I have many expensive folders, but I think I would go with a Cold Steel Voyager Vaquero XL. Very nice choice, sir. What do you think of the Spartan Harsey 4 Elite Grade folders? I don't know about Elite Grade. I have a Spartan Harsey 4-inch from maybe before they came out with Elite Grade S35VN, which isn't so elite anymore. And but it's mine, and I love it. But the Elite Grade, they put a lot of engravings and stuff on it. I love it. I love the way they look anyway. So, I mean, most definitely, if you're on the fence about getting a Spartan Harsey folder, just get off the fence and get one. You'll love it. And I can only speak for the full-size one. Victor Blades says, it is Rosecraft, the peanut. It's awesome. I got it in Stag. Awesome. I love peanuts. And actually, I love especially Virginia peanuts, heavily salted. But I was carrying this peanut this week. Really, really excellent chrome vanadium version. The guy who had this before me put incredible edges on both blades and a nice patina on both. And look at that beautiful bone. It's so nicely done. I love the chrome vanadium cases. They do a great job on them. I think they spend more time on them. Great fit and finish and great walk and talk on this. Todd Carr says, I have the flat ground 8010 and S35VN. Think the older hollow ground ones were mostly XHP, I believe. I think mine was S35VN. It was from the very first run, and it's hollow, which is sweet. I think, I don't know. It's over there. I'm pretty sure it's S35, or maybe it is XHP and the 15. I got them at the same time. Maybe the 15 was the S35. James Hart says, I'm still here, but I need to make supper. Oh, that's awesome. You got to listen to something while you're cooking. I always do. And usually it's something that gets me angry. So I hope this isn't getting you angry. Zachary Schmid, nice to have you here, Zachary. Good evening, Bob. Fellow junkies patiently waiting on my new fixed blade to arrive from Kershaw, the Pack Mule, which has intrigued me. The Pack Mule. I'm unfamiliar with that, but I do like Kershaw fixed blades. Trying to think of what I used to have a bunch of them. Marcus G503. Good to have you here, Marcus. Good evening, Bob, Jim, and all you blade lovers. One folder is a tough call, but my Mannix XL comes to mind first. What a great knife. What a great knife. It's like a pocket barong, just like this sword here, except in your pocket. Will Height works. Good to have you here, Will Height. Mr. Will Height. He was one of our winners last week. He says, Bob, Jim, and Junkies, hello. Hello to you, good sir. And speaking of Mr. Will Height, last week, someone named Mark T won one of our knives, the Concept Coke Tools collaboration. Mark T, are you in the chat? Let me know, because you never sent me your address, and that I want to get that knife out to you. Pete Davidson says Northern Knives is doing such amazing work. I agree. I love their Japanese style knives. Yeah, I do too. I love this recurved Tonto, and then there's a bigger one. I don't remember the name of it. Northern Knives says, looking at my collection, it seems the Microtech MSI would be my only folder, as I have 3. Oh, would be my only folder, as I have 3. As I say, though, that would be tough. I don't think it would be my one. I still lean towards the Hinderer XM18. Yeah, I mean, the Microtech MSI, I've heard it's a great knife. And if it's anything like the Stitch and the Amphibian with the ram lock, I'm sure it's awesome. But just the MSI blade leaves me a little cold, I got to say. I just want a little more pointy of a tip on that. Ed says, quiet carry Rincon for me. Vanex titanium washers. Love washers. That's quiet carry is interesting to me. Whole deployment, drop point, comfortable in the hand. They're one of the few brands right now that are doing washers. It feels like everyone has gone to bearings, and I prefer a smooth washer setup. You'll see that with my EDC tonight. Doug Bull, what are you doing, sir? Thank you so much. Great that you have a good rapport with officers. From my experience, it does mean something to officers. Yeah. I mean, the ones I've worked with or adjacent to have all been, to a person, great people, and or at least as far as I can tell, great people, and I admire them for the work they do. It's not an easy job, especially this day and age when it's fashionable to not like police. When I used to do a lot of stuff I wasn't supposed to be doing, I didn't like police, but now I realize as an older person, that was just me not wanting to get caught. If I needed the police, they would be the first people I would call. All right, Doug, we're going to do this. I'm going to salute you with this awesome knife. This is the APOC Survival Tools Smatch It. Double-edged, beautiful. What is this steel now? I don't remember what this steel is. It's a 4-number carbon steel, if I'm remembering correctly. Beautiful knife designed by Mike Wallace. Of course, the original was a Fairbairn design, and this one has a handle that reminds me a bit of a Gladius, especially with that sort of bulbous pommel. Really comfortable in hand, contoured G10, micro milled for extra grip. This, by the way, very, very sharp, nice bellies on there, on those bevels. But this is a reasonably priced knife. If this thing is your fancy, I highly suggest you go to APOC Survival Tools, which is a Cass Iberia company, and check them out. See the other cool stuff they have. I just posted a video of the Breeden knives, 3 of the 4 Breeden blades that they make. Jason Breeden, designer, and they're all Japanese inspired. Beautiful, beautiful knives. And I have some other APOCs, the larger, the Yatagan and the Wallace Bowie and the Demco Bowie, but I think this one still has my heart because I've always wanted to smash it, and this is the first one that was available and within reach. So this is for you, Doug. Thank you so much, man. I really, really appreciate it. Here's your swim by. Look at that. Oof. That is a big, big boy here. Yeah, swimming off to be a mindless eating machine. There's a knife, a video that Scab did where he was chopping in his swamp down there in Florida, and it bounced off a stick or something. It bounced off of a green limb, and it came back and hit him on the head. I'm not laughing, but He laughed at it. So Angry Tom's Hat Next Door says they have some self-defense Sharpies with G10. I have a couple right here, and I dig them. I have one from Armis Knife and Tool and one from Revenant Core. Here's the one from Revenant Core in purple. Now I chose the purple G10 or the purple Sharpie because I never use purple Sharpies, and I figured it'd be a quick way to identify which one was actually sharp if I were to use it. Look at that. He made it nice and long, so if you ever blunt the tip, you can just take some sandpaper to it and get it even sharper. Or I'm sorry, bring back the point. Ryan Lynch, nice to have you here, Ryan. Got to go with my Giant Mouse X Lynch Northwest Biblio XL in carbon fiber and Magna Cut. Lynch. Oh, okay. So this is a collaboration between Giant Mouse and Lynch Northwest on the Biblio XL. Fantastic all-around knife. Now, if anyone out there has a Giant Mouse fixed blade, that clip point Giant Mouse fixed blade, I can't remember the name of it now. So a viewer got in touch with me. He was desperate to find one. I looked all over and asked a couple of people. I asked Dave, and he didn't have one. So if you do, let me know. And you want to sell it, that is. 21 Kingdom 4. Nice to have you here, 21. He says the Recon 1. Now, you know what the next question is. Size and blade. Got to let me know. Craig Vincent says the 8010 Tontos are still hollow ground. Yes, and they look so good. I love the look of that super stout Tonto blade. I've been kind of flirting with the idea of getting one of those and then getting original goat scales for it in aluminum. I think that would look so cool. Pete Davidson says, what an age we live in when we can say S35EN isn't that elite anymore. Yeah, no kidding, man. No kidding. Spoiled rotten. We're a bunch of spoiled rotten little brats. Michael Spahich. Nice to have you here, Michael. Hello, Bob, he says, from Tejas. Hello to you, good sir. Thanks for joining us. Jacob Green. Nice to have you here, Jacob. It wouldn't be my first choice, but I use my Victorinox cheese to pop a beer for my stepsister's grandfather at her wedding on Sunday. Caterer's bottle opener was broken. Oh, wait, what's the Victorinox cheese? I've never heard of that, but I like that name. So it's always nice when you can come in clutch with a tool and like save the day. I got this. Get yourself a better bottle opener. You say to the caterer was probably embarrassed. That's an embarrassment. You know, that's party foul, if you will. Robert Strebin, good to have you here, Robert. Good evening, or good Thursday night, evening, Bob, Jim, and all you junkies out there. Thank you, Robert. Tonight is a special night. Tonight is a giveaway night just for Gentlemen Junkies. Pretty much every other week we give away knives. Tonight, it's about you, Gentlemen Junkie. And this is what we're giving away, this beautiful 3-dog knife. So Gentlemen Junkies are our top level of support, top tier of support on Patreon, or our 1 tier of support right here on YouTube. We just finally became YouTube membership worthy or not worthy. We signed up for the membership, finally got it. Okay, Matt Lamana says Emerson CQC 7B is a subtle drop point Tonto. Mine has partial serrations and a wave. Okay. Oh, partial serrations I do love. I know that really fell out of favor, but I'll take serrations like a lot, oftentimes. Northern Knives says the Smatchet is such a classic big blade. Yeah, it really is. And man, it weapon only or like all tool uses of that, definitely secondary. Zachary says the Pack Mule is a mid-size clip point fixed blade produced in N690. Just meant to be an all-arounder, but looks like it can function in a tactical role. It's the first USA-made Kershaw in some time. Now, the Launch series, they're all USA-made, and there are a couple of others. But I think maybe you mean the first USA-made fixed blade by Kershaw in some time. Because I can't think of any fixed blade Kershaws. The Pack Mule. I might have to look that up. That sounds like a good fix. I mean, good knife to get. Kershaw Pack Mule. Sorry, I know it's It's antisocial to be writing while on camera. Pete Davidson says, I never understood the need for bearings. Yeah, it's kind of a first world thing. I get why people like them, but all of my Spyderco lockbacks have drop shut action and they all fly out of the handle once you put your finger in the hole. Yes. And same thing with cold steel lockbacks, you know. You can get it to flick and then boom, drop shut. On that's on Teflon and brass or bronze washers, I believe. I think they have 2 washers on both sides. Scott says, I'm fashionably late. Well, Scott, it's lovely to have you here. I think fashionably late is 8 minutes, like if you're going to a fancy dinner party. I remember someone told me that once. Howdy all, you fine folk. I haven't room in my head to even think of a folder as an Almar I've been looking out for years has come up on Arizona Custom Knives. It's a fixie. I love Arizona Custom Knives. I just go there to gawk. They always have so many great things, and they go at the end of Blade Show. They go around and they vacuum up a whole bunch of knives that people haven't sold. And man, I love it. I love it. And it's not just customs. You can get plenty of production knives there. So yeah, Arizona Custom is awesome. Mr. Escotada, we have Rolando with us. Cold Steel Frenzy, like a folding gununting. Yes, I love my Frenzy. I got the green one. I know that you have a couple of the big ones, but you also have the small one, Rolando. What do you think of that one? I saw that in the picture you posted the other day. Ooh, that's the Pack Mule. That's a great looking blade. I like that blade a lot. And I like the handle. Ooh, and it's USA made. Thanks for putting that up there, Jim. Now I'm tempted. Now I'm tempted to have another clip point in the collection. Rolando, let me know what you think about the 3.5-inch Frenzy. Craig Vincent says, I wish Cold Steel would make XL Voyagers in 3V. Huh. You know what? Have you been watching Scab, Choir Boys Outdoors? His thing, he's on day like 65, I guess, or something like that, of using the AUS 10 XL drop point Voyager to cut through Teflon fire hose. He does like 3 cuts a day, and it doesn't seem to be slowing down. I mean, that AUS 10A, it's got to be pretty darn good steel, but we all know that cold steel is just awesome with the heat treat, right? So until 3V pops up on that knife, I think the 10A will be awesome. Jacob Green says, or adequate, I should say. Jacob Green says, the Victorinox Cheese is a Swiss Army knife made for charcuterie boards. The main appeal is the full-length folding fork with a bottle opener at the base. I love that. That's like a hobo knife. And, you know, I've been interested in hobo lore for a little while. I love the idea. That sounds great. That sounds like something I might need to look into. Pete Davidson says, I love how all these different companies are giving us brand name steels we all need on our pocket knives. But how's the edge geometry and the heat treatment? Says Pete Davidson. Well, Pete, I mean, I know, look, you mentioned the K390 Spyderco. We all know that Spyderco has awesome edge geometry and heat treatment. But I see what you mean about other knives. And I know that this has come up over the past couple of years with some of the knife tube sleuths who are, you know, who are pushing companies to maximize their heat treats by shaming them by actually testing the Rockwell hardness. Like when MagnaCut first came out, and people were and companies were still heat treating it to like 58 to 60. People were like, I can go up to 62 to 64 or whatever it is. And yeah, they started changing their tune. William Phillips, nice to have you here, William, and a dapper looking gentleman at that. One folder, Dirk Pinkerton Night Horse. Ooh, man after my own heart. Slim ruffian. Can't have just one. Yeah, I love Pinkerton's designs, but that Night Horse, his modernized take on the Navaja, is so good and so gone. If you don't have one, you're well, you got to look on the secondary market, because that was an exclusive with Smoky Mountain Knife Works, and it was made by Beyond EDC's company or division Asymmetrical. And And then they also did a G10 version of it. Just that knife is so good. So nice choice, sir. Sean Clark says, good evening, Bob, Jim, and Junkies. Favorite night of the week. Sean, I love Thursday night too, and it's great to have you here. I love letting down my considerable locks of hair and just relaxing with you guys and talking knives. And my wife loves it because I don't have to talk knives upstairs. Scott Winters says, if it's the daily trip to the gym, if it's the daily trip to the gym, I carry the Spyderco Ronin 2 Warncliffe. That's a great choice. Cold Steel Frenzy. Otherwise, the EDC is the Spyderco 15V Military. Love the military. I need the military too. The Spyderco Ronin 2 Warncliffe, Spyderco Swick 5. The Swick 5, is that little one with the finger hole? Looks kind of like a Fred Perrin design. Pardon me, guys. Larry Babcock, nice to have you here, Larry. My one folder would be my Spyderco Sprint Run Military 2. You guys, tempting me with the Military 2 now, with S90V blade steel and carbon fiber scales. I would love to get a crew wear Military 2, and for the most shallow of reasons, I like the tan micarta. I'm sure the crew wear is awesome, but really I like the way it looks. I love this. I love everything about the military. Even the military one where you only have tip down. Split and Slices says, I'm really tempted with the Kershaw Iridium Magna Cut Auto. Ooh, for the 16X. What's that mean? For the 16X. Thoughts? Launch 21 instead. I love the Iridium. I love that knife. As a matter of fact, that knife rides in my backpack in my little small zipper pocket at the very top where you quickly grab your pens and your lip stuff and whatever, it's in that easy access. I love the Iridium so much. And I think what they did with the auto is make it look even better. I feel like they did something with the blade, or maybe they made the handle more slender or something. But yeah, I would go with that. I would get that. Alex Kerber, nice to have you here, Alex, and peace to you, good sir. I had a teacher named Kerber. Rolando says, the Small Frenzy is very versatile. Finalizing a new episode on it. Think Love Child of the Wingard Dick Pic and the Midget Frenzy. I love it. Oh, and I bet you can easily have it tip down, edge in for that pick haul style too. Yeah, I'm gonna have to. I keep telling myself I don't need the Small Frenzy. It's a little small. I'd rather it had a 4-inch instead of a 3.5-inch blade. But that's just cope. That's just how I cope with not having one. Maybe the best way to cope is to actually buy one. Still in that acquisitive phase of life, and I'm halfway. I'm more than halfway there. Victor Blade says, hey, Bob, Jim, if you don't mind me saying, and well, now that I am officially a gentleman junkie, I shall take liberty and say, I love when you show the knife you're referencing on screen. Do it more, please. Okay. I will. If I have it out here. If I have it out here. Seth Lang, greetings all, he says. Greetings to you, Victor. I'm just gonna start talking about this because it's so awesome. This is the Station 9. What is this called? It's got a number assigned to it, and it's super awesome. I love it. As a matter of fact, I pulled this out because I saw someone do a short of this right before I turned on the camera here tonight, and I thought I'd have it close by. Such a beautiful clip point. I love this thing. Pete Davidson says, many times I got suckered into buying a knife with some whiz-bang steel designed by a Ninja Turtle, only to find out it barely cuts open a bag of chips. I think you guys call them crisps. No, we call them chips too. I think it's across the other pond in Great Britain. They call them crisps. And you can go and you can get your lamb vindaloo flavored crisps. When my wife lived in London, I would meet up with her after her work day, and we would hang out in a pub with her friends, and dinner was chips or crisps and beer. and cigarettes. And the funny thing is that the crisps always tasted like a meal. They have crazy flavors over there. OG Blade Review says, Dr. Laren Thomas himself has stated in a video that edge geometry and heat treat are more important than steel type. Yeah, no doubt. No doubt about that. And that's a guy whose hobby is designing our favorite blade steels. You know, his job is actually designing steels for the automotive industry. So that guy, big old brain on that guy. He knows what he's talking about. Craig Vincent says, oh yes, AUS 10A is more than adequate. I abused the living crap out of my XL Voyager drop point, but I can dream. Yeah, I hear you, Craig. There is something about, well, A, about 3V, but B, about just about knowing that even though you're not going to push the blade steel to its ultimate end, that you can go the distance with it, no matter what that distance is. Ira Hayes says, Rolando Escatada, congratulations. You made the dick pic sound even worse with DP. That's funny. This is the dick pic, or the DP. And we were just talking about this, Rolando and myself, and I. And he came up with this. I love this. You can just eye jab like an eye jab. Bill G. And then this is I like it like this in the hammer fist grip. You got great forward punching and great downward punching with this. Just such a cool tool. I love this thing. Oh, and also, by the way, it's pretty damn handy. Ben Odie agrees on the Spyderco military crew wear. All right, Ben, we'll have to get them, and whoever gets it first wins. Just kidding. Let's not do that. Knives and pizza. Oh my God. My two favorite things in the world. Good to have you here, Knives and Pizza. I'm thinking of getting a cold steel Talwar serrated. Absolutely. I have one. It's right over there. Damn it. Should have pulled it out. But yes, it is. It is so badass. And it's a great, great knife. And it's light. It's a little bit bigger than this, I think. I mean, they both have 5.5-inch blades, but it seems a little bigger than this, but it's also lighter than this. I love the Talwar XL. James Hart says, a question. Do you think Magna Cut will be replaced by something better in the future? Oh, yeah, no doubt. No doubt. There's something else that Laren Thomas just recently designed. It's another kind of steel, and I don't know what it is. I can't remember what it's called, but I don't know why it's better, but I think it is supposed to be. Anyway, Angry Tom's hat. I keep saying hangry. I must be wanting to eat Hangry Joe's. It's a good chicken place. Angry Tom's Hat Next Store says, I want a Beckwith. Those Beckwiths are awesome. The pocket version and the full size, they're both beautiful. Great, great knives. Victor Blade said, oh, and they just came out with a Magna Cut drop. I'm not sure exactly when that will be dropping, but Chaz and his brother John have been showing it off a lot and kind of prepping the waters. They're also coming out with a full-size version of the McNasty, which I definitely want. Victor Blade says, Bob, I like the Iridium a lot as well, but I want a manual USA premium version. Yes, that would be sweet. And if we're dreaming, dare we dream, I would say even a little bit larger than the standard 3.5 would be nice. William says, by the way, Bob, your review of the SR1, especially the cut test, caused me to buy the light and the full-blown version. Demko knows his stuff as well. Oh, that's awesome. Well, I'm glad. Thank you. It's nice to know that the reviews are watched. I know a lot of people really love the vertical shorts, but yeah, I like knowing that people are watching the longs too. Bobby Rains, how you doing, Bobby? It's so good to have you here. I cannot wait, Bobby. he's my next big custom Bowie purchase, and I can wait. I don't mean I can't wait. What I mean is I look forward to. I anticipate with great joy having a Rainmaker. That's what I've decided on. Station 9, number 8, Sear. That's right, Sear. Survive, escape, resist. Survive, evade, escape, survive, evade, resist, escape, right? Yeah, that's this knife, and it is really great. Now they make it with a sheath that more contours to the blade, which I kind of would prefer. But I know a lot of people, including Vol West and Tony Lopez, the two guys behind Station 9, they like to put survival kits attached to the outside of this. This would make a great just all-around survival type knife because it's so tough, but that's $10.95. But I also just like it because it's a nice kind of tactical kind of knife. It's like a little Bowie. Zachary says, Bob, how the Station 9 sear knife compare to the Very Good Knife Company First Strike? Excellent question. Here, I happen to have them both on the table, and I'll lay them out. And you can, here is the Station 9, and here is the First Strike. So very similar. And something that's great about both of them is that the guards, excuse me, the guards are both, these are both true full tang blades, or knives. So what you see in terms of their profiles, it's all metal underneath. So even the guards are integral to the full tang. So two really great ones. I have seen Very Good Knife Company make this custom with a sharpened swedge, which made me absolutely drool. That he can also make it with a shorter handle. I've seen both of those features on one custom that he did. So this is a little bit bigger, and this is also handmade, like literally handmade, free handmade. He's amazing, Jacob is sweet, in the United States. So this is going to be more expensive, but depending on how you feel about USA made knives and who you want to support, you might choose this over this. But they are both great knives. I think these are Chinese made, the Station 9. Some of them may be Taiwanese, I'm not sure. But I love the really long swedge on this, from here to basically from the tip to about the ricasso. And that's something you see on the Mac V SOG Bowie designs, with the double peaks on the spine. That has a long swedge all the way to the back. I always thought that was really cool. Not only cool looking, but great for penetrative strikes, if you will. Victor Blades says, I didn't mean a knife that you have there in the studio. I meant from your computer screen. Slap that up. I don't mean to be a pain in the ass. I'm just saying it's another level of greatness to the show. Yeah, I mean, that's something I rely on Jim to do, and every once in a while he will do that. But he's always, putting in the comments. So I hear you, we hear you, and we'll try and do that more. Actually, Rolando says DP is definitely worse. Yeah, I know, but it feels sometimes a little undignified to call it the dick pic. It's like, hey, Dad, check this out. It's a cool new tool that I have. Oh yeah, what's it called? Well, it's called the DP, and then be like, I think DP would actually work better with my dad, say, than dick pic, because I don't think his mind is in the gutter. Matt Lamana says the Station 9 sear is like the gateway blade to Very Good Knife Company First Strike. Buzzing to get me one of those. Absolutely a great knife. Both of them. Very Good Knife Company now has the Counter Strike, which is a smaller one that is drool worthy. It's so awesome. A little, 4-inch blade, big clip, curved clip, nice handle. He's been showing that one off a lot recently, and geez, it's so many temptations in this knife world. Craig Vincent says, I want to give a knife to a buddy's son who is going on his first deployment as a U.S. Army infantryman. What should I get him? What about a leatherneck? I know that's a little off because leatherneck is a Marine, but those are apparently really great, full tang, inexpensive. Like under $100. I think $60 to $80. And remember, well, I can't say remember. I wasn't in the military, but I know a lot of people who were. And my brother-in-law, chief among them, tells stories about how everything, like a lot of good stuff, gets stolen. People kind of borrow stuff from one another, and knives tend to disappear. So maybe not anything too expensive, but I would go with a cold steel. I mean, I know that you choose your advice when you choose your advisors, but I would say a cold steel. You could go with a Coben, or I have heard from 411 Outdoors, Daniel from 411 Outdoors, who does a lot of knife throwing, has said that the handle on the Recon Tonto came loose after throwing it, but he's thrown the Leatherneck a bunch, and that hasn't happened at all. It's full tang in a different sort of construction. And also you got the SRK. That's a great knife. And, even the SEALs like that knife. And I say it like that because I know a lot of people claim that their knives are the favorite of Navy SEALs. But in this case, we know that to be true because they're issued during training. Scott Winter says, receive my Boker and Hrimner. Let's see, Boker and Hrimner. And I don't know why I can't pronounce that. And Hrimner fixed blade Warncliffe. Ooh, from Smoky Mountain Knife Works on sale. Fixed blade Warncliffe sounds like music to my ears. We have a lot of stuff to get to. We do have to give away this knife, and we're already an hour and a minute in. So we're going to get to that in a minute, and we're going to do something else first, though. Lone Star Dowboy says, I have the serrated Talwar XL. Waited because I thought it was redundant alongside the Espada Large. No, sir. But I went the collector route and got it. There's no redundancies. No, everything has its specialized use case. All right, that said, let us get to a pocket check.
What's in his pocket? Let's find out. Here's the Knife Junkie with his pocket check of knives.
Speaking of Navy SEALs, which I just was, today I was carrying this. I haven't carried this in a little while. This is the Resco Instruments Gooseworks Mekong Delta Combat Folder. I love the name, Mekong Delta Combat Folder. Really nice knife designed by the guys behind Resco Instruments watches, some of the favored watches by the Navy SEALs. And they've made a couple of knives. One knife has a clip point and finger grooves, and then this one, which I just find to be superior, awesome knife, I've seen this with a half micarta handle and a hollow ground blade. They're very hard to come by. If you go to Resco Instruments, every once in a while they'll have a run of these. Now, I thought when I got this, also really superlative washer action. Just really, you like washers? Oh my goodness. This is glassy smooth. But anyway, I sort of I wanted to imagine a myth around this, that these were American made in some basement in North Carolina by a Navy SEAL, designed by one, yes, former frogman, but these are made by Best Tech. And you know what? It doesn't matter. Best Tech makes amazing knives, and they did an incredible job on this. It really has the feel of like it needs to be next to a Spartan Blades, a Harsey folder, or a Chris Reeve Knives Sabenza, or a Hinderer. It really has that feel, like a classic washer folder. Also, that's a 20 CV blade steel and 4-inch blade length. Great blasted titanium handle that's taken on a nice life of its own. Next up in my pocket, I had from the second run from Jack Wolf Knives, the Venom Jack. And this is, I mean, I say this about all the Jack Wolf Knives, but I think that this Venom Jack and the Diamondback Jack, the locking version of this knife, is my favorite Warncliffe blade shape by Jack Wolf Knives. I love the straight spine, the descent, of course, until it drops to the tip. And then that descending edge, that angled edge, so great for cutting and any sort of tip use. This is a fully hollow ground S90V blade. very nicely stone washed. And then I love this combination of this dark matter red fancy carbon fiber next to the blasted titanium. I mentioned this a lot when I first got it. It just looks like an artifact to me. It looks like a really in great shape knife from like early 20th century to me. I'm not sure why. It has to do with the carbon fiber, I think. But I really love this thing. I had that in the one of the pockets, the pocket slip that it came with. On my belt today, I had the Scout style up front. I had the Mamushi from Gross Motor Gear, this beautiful Pikal style knife with the Sukamaki wrap, and it's got that Manuki under there. It's an adder, which a Mamushi is an adder. And look at that thing, man alive. I love this. This is actually the mini, come to think of it. The larger one, right? Yeah, I think this is the mini. Now I'm not sure. I have the mini and the Mac, or the mini and the regular size, and they're not that different from one another, but they look the same and they're just beautifully made. I love these knives. Scott Old, maker of Gross Motor Gear, does some really cool stuff. He's making some really sweet little daggers. Oh, this reminds me, I have to look him back up on Instagram and start following him again. And then for emotional support, my ESK today wasn't on my person, but it was riding in my bag, ready to be on my person if need be. The beautiful Prather War Bowie. If I were to have one criticism of this amazing Tops knife, a storied Tops knife, is that that beautiful long clip should be sharp. Wouldn't this be awesome if it were double-edged? Yes, of course it would be. But this will do until the double-edged one gets here. A really, really nice knife. You've got the red liners and the black G10. It's really taken on my filth signature, as Advanced Knife Bro would say. Great chimping, great grip on this, a coffin handle. This is interesting to me because it's kind of a coffin handle, kind of, at least in the way it tapers from the pommel to the forefinger. And then when you go towards the tip, it looks kind of like a French fighting knife in that the blade itself is the guard. It's so much wider than the pinch point of the forefinger that it doesn't need a guard. The blade itself is the guard. So love this knife. And this is one of the best Kydex sheaths I ever made when I was making Kydex sheaths, just for myself. Every once in a while, I would make myself a sheath. This one locks in so perfectly. So today, that's what I had on me. My ESK was the Prather War Bowie from Tops. I had the Mamushi, possibly mini, on me by Gross Motor Gear. Did I put this in the wrong way? Nope. And I had the Venom Jack from the second run with that beautiful dark matter red carbon fiber. So nice looking. And the Mekong Delta Combat Folder. See that? That dropped shut, and that's on washers. So take that. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Iris Hayes says, I'm here for the longs. All right, Ira. Thank you. I will make more longs. I've been posting a lot of shorts, or the collection selection. I got to get through my whole collection, and it will take me a long time, I'm realizing, because I just have so many knives. And I'm wondering, like when I show one, sorry, Jim, love you, buddy, says Victor. Oh, you just made Jim's life more busy. No, I'm just kidding. So do I show duplicates all in the same video? I think it's ridiculous for me if I were to do all of my Agent 001s at once. Not that I have too many of them. I have 5 of them, I guess. But maybe the collection selection should be, if I have multiples, they all appear in the same video. Pete Davidson says, I'm still giggling over your hand candy comment from last week. Oh, man, I just talk, Pete. I don't remember what I say. No, I'm just kidding. Hand candy. What knife was I talking about? Do you remember? It must have been something very ergonomic. James Hart says, I haven't served, but my best friend was in Desert Storm back in '91. He carried the Gerber Strong Arm. I had no idea they were making the Strong Arm back then. I'm sure it looked different than the Strong Arm now, but back then, 91, they had the BMF, the LMF, the old school versions of them. Those were so cool. I used to drool over those at the Remington Knife Shop at the Randall Park Mall outside of Cleveland. Oh my God, I love those knives. Lone Star Dowboy says, Craig, 22 years Army here. Oh, thank you for your service, Lone Star. I'm not sure which Army. I would suggest a Swiss Champ. It served me well. Now, Lone Star, I know you at one point were speaking to us from foreign soil. I'm not sure if that's where you're from or if you were just visiting and decided while you were on that cool trip to pipe in here. But in any case, 22 years in the Army, that's pretty amazing. Dave says, hitting the rack soon, so today's carry is below. Best to all. Okay, Dave always has a nice carry. Okay, his ESK today was the Katsu Tanto Dagger. Oh, yeah. 8.5-inch SLD Magic. I've been wondering, it's not a sharp swedge, is it? I've been looking real close at your picture, zooming in. I suppose I could just go to the website, but it's more interesting to try and sleuth it out. The Williams Ozuraku Zukuri operator folder in Magna Cut. That's a cool knife. The Les George Galvo boot dagger in 3V. Jaw clenching, jealousy setting in. Ketuo Bratva frame lock in M390. I'm unfamiliar with that one. DC Blades Mark II Pekal. Very sweet. I love DC Blades. And man, yeah, they have a knack for the Pekal. Nick Der Muff, good to have you here, Nick. Just joined in. Well, good to have you here, man. Let us know what you were carrying today. Zachary Schmidt says, my next purchase is probably going to be a Becker BK10. I really like to look at that clip blade. Yeah, it's big and obnoxious, and I love it. People love the BK10. That's a big one, but it's also just like a big collector knife. And obnoxious, it's not obnoxious, it's needed. James Hart says, pocket check, same old, Swiss Army Knife Deluxe Tinker, Gerber multi-pliers, cold steel drop point Voyager 4-inch blade. These live in my EDC bag. Hey, that's an awesome. And in pocket, my cold steel Voyager clip point 5.5-inch. Yes, sir. That's a great carry. I'm not going to say need. I would like to get the small Voyager with the drop point blade. Then I think my Voyager collection is complete, except for the fact that I have to go back in time, or at least on eBay, and find all the 3-inch versions. Pete Davidson says, I love my cold steel knives with Kraton handles, rubber, but I worry about damaging them, especially the ones that incorporate the guard. The Trailmaster has held up so far. Yep. I've had my Trailmaster for definitely over 25 years, and I've had my Tanto, my very first cold steel, since 1987, and they still don't feel, you know how rubber when it gets old starts to feel like it's coming apart in your hands, or like it's melting, kind of. Doesn't have that feel at all. Their Kraton is awesome. Lone Star Dowboy says, today's carry, the Smoky Mountain Knife Works exclusive Columbia River Knife and Tool Minimalist Bowie and Cold Steel Espada XL. Very nice. A necker and a wrecker. Yes, sir. All right, I think it's time. Let's give away this knife. Will B says, today I had my Demco MG8020 XL, Microtech Amphibian. Oh, love that. Spyderco Military 2 Crew Carta, damn it. Protec TR4, Microtech Hera 2, TKL Guardian, Olight Arkfeld Pro Titanium, and Karis Bolt V2. Very nice. You know I love that Amphibian. And now I'm all interested in this MG8020 XL because I need a 4-incher in my life. All right, so this is the knife we're giving away. I'm going to put this on under the knife cam, and I have to say that Angry Tom's Hat Next Door just joined, so we didn't get a chance to put you on here. But just imagine Angry Tom's Hat Next Door. I will say his name in alphabetical order with the rest. All right, we have 5-door. We have Adrian Fighter 35. We have Angry Tom's Hat Next Door, Ben Belkin, Byron Kennedy, Colin Maison-Pierre, Craig Vincent, Dion Page, Dirk Pinkerton, Donald Fry, Doug Bowl, Edwin Callow, Gary Balmain, Gavin Colitis, Jay McConnell, Jacob Vargas, Jamin Parker, Jason, Jeff Hamilton. Jeff Hamilton, you have a knife that you won that you still have not sent me your address, even from when you first signed up. So please send me your address, sir, if you're listening or watching. Jeff Wright, Jesse Tellis, Jock's Knife, John Marchell, JVF, Larry Elizondo, Martin Gamboa, Matthew Lamana, Michael Elliott, Never Enough Knives, 007, Ronald Reimer, Ryan Lynch, Scott Nelson, Sean Welford, Sean Harmon, Stephen Michael Robert, Thomas Butler, V2, thanks, Dad, Victor, I think I spelled this wrong, sorry. We have Victor Blades, and Northern Knives, and Will B. Victor, sorry for misspelling your name. That was my fault when I was typing fastly. Sorry about that. All right, so let's do this. Let's shuffle the names and get them on the wheel. There they are. I love the new look of the wheel, Jim. Thank you, man, with the dagger in the center. Looks so smart, so just right on. All right, let's roll in 3, 2, and 1. There it goes. There it goes. Oh my gosh, I can barely contain myself. Michael Elliott. It was right on the line. Wasn't sure if it was Michael Elliott. Congratulations, good sir. Wow, that's awesome. Michael Elliott is a recent Gentleman Junkie. I'm so happy to be sending this to him. Michael does really beautiful designs. I have one of his designs, the Gunfighter, made by Gunfighter Customs. So this is a great knife going to a great guy. So happy to send this to you, Michael. And to one and all, thank you so much for your support. It means so much to me and to Jim. And you don't know how much this helps us. So thank you so much. Michael Elliott, this is now yours. I will get my grubby paws off of it, set it aside, put it in the box with the swag, and send it your way on the morrow. Timothy Chadwick, sorry, my daughter would cringe if she heard me say on the morrow, and she's the actress. Timothy Chadwick says, an all dauntless manufacturing day, the Dermot Dagger and the Clift Bowie. Holy mackerel, Timothy. Those are two gorgeous knives. I love dauntless manufacturing stuff. And they're cool guys too. But the Bowie is just too cool. The Clift, just awesome. Doug Bowl says, Bob, I gave my ShivWorks disciple to one of my daughters. That's a great one. Who is in the U.S. Air Force Security Forces, and she loves it. Her nickname now is Stabby Stabby. That's right. That's right. That's how all of our daughters should be referred to by some people. Michael Elliott says, pocket check, ESK Concept Hazard. A strange knife. You manipulate it very well, sir. The GFC El Jefe and the Gunfighter Customs El Jefe. I love that knife. And the Gunfighter, the Cold Steel Black Talon Serrated, the Microtech Combat Troodon, and the Ultratech ZBT, Zero Blade Tolerance. Is that what that is? Jack Wolf Venom Jack in blue carbon fiber. Look at that. Great minds thinking alike. And the Nightcore EDC 29. Very nice. I have the 27. And that's something that Dave gave me, and I love that flashlight. Or shall I call it a torch? Jerry C says, Cold Steel SRK, I truly love them. One of the best knife values for the price. I may have many, but I've never beat the shit out of any of them. Any issues with the heat treat after the company was sold? Not as far as I know. But then again, mine is an old one, Carbon V. But I haven't heard anyone. And, people look, because we all fear change. And, I know that people had Cold Steel under a microscope after the sale. And I've gotten plenty of knives post sale to GSM, and they're all awesome. They're all the one exception is that the 4-inch Tylite Chris has a great blade, great everything, but the handle material feels cheap on that for some reason. It feels cheaper than others. Matt Hart says, if you go with a folder, make sure you can open it one-handed, Craig. Yes, for sure. I couldn't agree more. The sharpened Prather Bowie swedge would be transformative. Yes, it would. Ooh, what the hell was that? Anyway, sorry, guys. Having a little hallucinations here. Pete Davidson says, carry for today is the Spyderco Manix 2 lightweight with wave opener. Huh. Is this aftermarket? Is this from 5x5 Combat Solutions? Or is this a Manix 2 with an actual wave built in? Swiss Army Knife Mini Champ and a Spyderco Perrin Bowie. Fred Perrin. What a mensch. I'm watching from the knife room, so there'll be plenty of choice close at hand. You got to watch from your knife room. Speaking of knives, which we have been, just want to point you in the direction of this and say October 1st. Oh, let me read Matt's carry first. Today's carry, the TKL Agent 001. Speak of the devil. The TJ Schwartz Overland X, which he makes himself by hand. The Phobos Cacula. Now, I need to check out Phobos, is what I'm hearing. The Kershaw Bel Air and the very good knife company Lone Star. Matt, that is one hell of a carry. I like everything you've got there, especially the first one. So these are this is the old run, which I still carry all the time. But lately, I've been carrying these newer ones. Agent 001 drops for the first time in a year and a half on October 1st. And I know for sure that there are 500 of them. I'm not sure if he has extras in the offing or in the wings, I mean. But definitely get on board with this. These are looking so sweet. Let me just show you. The old one is on top. The new one is on bottom. And there are some real refinements to the new version. Look at the chamfering, look at the machining. And then the battle lock grips, which I got to say left me cold before I got them in hand and realized how sweet they are. They left me cold because I love all manner of G10 and micarta, and all their other 30 variety of handles from TKL Knives are in G10 and micarta. I'm like, well, why would I get GRN, glass reinforced nylon? But it turns out that these things are awesome. The stippling is amazing, and these grips are made by the same company that does the frames and the grips for SIG and for FN USA. So really super tough stuff, and really nicely machined, and the grip is just insane. Another cool thing, two cool things. First of all, this is my first experience with this very excellent clip. This is the wire clip for, this is the Ulti clip. It's a wire clip that Tim co-designed with the former, the guy who started Ulti Clip, may he rest in peace. And it is awesome. It keeps the knife really close to the belt, close to the body. It's so low profile. And sometimes I find that horizontal clips can annoy my skin if I'm wearing like a t-shirt that's untucked. And this is very comfortable. Very comfortable, because I go over the belt and the pants and have it come in real close. This works awesome. Also, you can get it with the new Badger Claw leather sheaths. These are great. I just dropped this thing in my pocket. I don't even use a clip. I mean, you could put a clip on there, but I just drop it in the pocket, and the surface tension of this with the inside of the pocket makes the knife really easy to draw. And it's very stout leather. And of course, as you can see, rivets down here, so you're not cutting any stitching. And it would take some doing to have the blade stab through. Of course, it could if you're not careful, or if you don't put it in and, say you have it, and it's not fully seated in like this, and then something happens and it bends. But if it's all the way in there, it's not poking through that leather. So really great stuff. If you have always wanted an Agent 001, but there weren't any available, you can do it now for that October 1st drop. And we have an affiliate link. Thank you, Jim. TheKnifeJunkie.com/TKL. You save 10% on your purchase. I get a little kickback, and they get a sale over at TKL Knives. So the coupon code is Knife Junkie, just Knife Junkie. Ooh. All right, so do check that out. Thank you for the interruption. I just had to talk about that. Last pocket check we saw was Matt Lamana. He had some really cool stuff. Anyone else out there have a pocket check they'd like to share? Excuse me. Victor Blades rocking the tack knives intruder. Oh my God, Bob. All the rage right now. Several YouTubers already have declared it knife of the year. Tack knives intruder. GEC 47 Viper. What a classic. In leather slip left pocket. By the way, Jim does a great job. He does an awesome job. Yeah, and I'm sorry, before I wax poetic about Jim, I just want to say the GEC 47 Viper was the knife that got me interested in GEC years ago, but they were so hard to come by. And then they did a second run in like 2019 maybe, and I got one with the purple plum bone. It is so gorgeous. I need to carry that more. My carry for today, says Adrian Fighter 35, was the Cold Steel Espada Large. It sliced and poked a lot of things today. My ESK was the Recon 1 XL. That one stayed in my pocket. Very nice choice. Look, these are so sweet. I love these. I'm sorry. KR Knives review. KR Knifes review. Good to have you here, KR. Demco 8020.5. A nice choice. I have the 20.5 in the shark's foot blade. I always regret getting that in the shark's foot blade. I just definitely prefer their clip point. The shark's foot. I was like, well, I should get that because it's unique, it's different, and I don't have one. But I just kind of wish I had the other one. But hey, live, learn, love. Lone Star Dowboy says, Texas boy, born and raised but retired on the Aegean coast of Turkey. Sun up around the corner. Wow, man. So I swam in the Aegean between Crete and Turkey. Very, very much closer to Crete because that's where we were honeymooning. But I overcame the fear of swimming out to a buoy and back while I was there. And I'm not talking buoy knife. But how beautiful to be on the Aegean. Poseidon, take me back. I'm just kidding. I can hear my daughter cringe. Victor Blade says, one of my fellow junkies just mentioned the Ketuo Bratva. Very close to pulling the trigger on that, as it is that pulling the trigger on that. It is gorgeous. I'll be getting the polished mirror finish on that one. Oof. Ketuo Bratva. I think that was Dave who mentioned that. Nick Der Muff says, I'm carrying the TKL Night Guard. Awesome choice. And my TKL Piranha. We have another TKL fan. How awesome. I love the Night Guard. I've never had the Piranha. If I were to get the Piranha, I think I would get it with the Sentry grip. Makes it longer and it's got the ring. It just seems perfect. Angry Tom's Hat Next Door says, QSP Gorilla, Rosecraft Mud Creek Congress, and my Monterey Bay Knives Fate coin. How cool. Is that with a little blade on it? Or is that something that says Memento Mori? What is that? Split and Slices says, pocket check. The Knife Junkie and Hogtooth Knives Nova 1. Excellent choice, sir. And the Rough Rider Reserve 46 Longfellow Granddaddy Barlow. That sounds awesome. I love big Barlows. I have a Granddaddy Barlow from Rough Rider. It's not the Rough Rider Reserve, though, but it's still cool. Craig Vincent says, Tie 3V 8010, the Swift 3. So should I get the Swift 3? It's been on my mind a little bit. Looks pretty sweet. The Raja 2, the Voyager XL Tonto Serrated, the Hawkbill Spectre. That's a classy carry, that Hawkbill. The Mangana's Purple Haze Kaimano. and Copper Culpepper from Kershaw. Walnut Buck Vanguard in center console. Truck had a Natchez Bowie. Nice. Here, since I have it on the table, I'm going to pull mine out. I love the Natchez Bowie. Love this thing. Pete Davidson says, everyone needs a 4-incher in their lives. Just a useful blade length. There I go, being stupid. Okay. Yes, they do. Here's a good 4-incher. That's the Vaquero. Yay. Thank you, says Michael Elliott. You are very welcome. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Level on up. Nice to have you here, Level. You guys are all slacking on the thumbs up. Thank you for saying so. Guys, thumbs up costs you nothing and helps us. I'm not exactly sure how, but I know it helps with the algorithm. I think people just like saying algorithm. Like they like saying Turks and Caicos. Like, whoever heard of Turks and Caicos before a couple of years ago? I'm sure many of you had. I had never heard of that place. Apparently, it's stupendously beautiful and a lovely place to visit. Craig Vincent says, James Hart, I've only been collecting for 3 years, but I've bought well over 500 knives during that time. But I give a lot away. At one point, I had around 250 cold steels. How awesome. Craig, you need to expand into swords if you haven't already, because the cold steel swords can be very sweet. Pete Davidson says, I bought a bunch of wave openers from Wiseman Company for most of my Spyderco knives. They work really well, but are very expensive to get in Australia. Wiseman. I have not. Sorry, guys. As per usual, my nose starts itching 3.5 hours into, or an hour and a half into the show. Ira Hayes says, I am definitely getting an Agent 001. I just my worn EDC and the machining is great. Oh, I just got my worn EDC and the machining is great. Probably from the same shop as the 001. Yes. Nick Chuprin of NCC Knives, an incredible knife maker and machinist, has been doing a lot of Tim's stuff, and it is all gorgeous. Really nice. Matt Lamana says, I swapped out my TKL grips to Battle Lock. Still love my Carta, but those scales are next level grippy. They really are. Like, if you're not just a collector like I am, and you're a law enforcement officer or a military guy or something where you actually need to carry a knife and your life might depend on it. I mean, I guess we could all fit into that category. If you in extreme scenarios, but if your job and your life, you're always putting yourself in danger, get the Battle Lock grips. I mean, they feel good. It's aggressive, but not overly so. I mean, it's hard to explain. Very grippy, but doesn't like hassle my hands. Pete Davidson says, I would buy one of your 001s in a heartbeat, but it would most likely get confiscated by customs due to the top swedge. Even if it's not sharp, it can be considered double-edged, which we can't import. That is, I'm sorry to hear that, man. I'm sorry to hear that. Pete, hopefully someday our great nations all come to their senses about these kind of arbitrary and silly rules. Like, you can still have a roofing hammer, right? Well, that's dangerous too. Leon Natoyer says, hi, everyone. Well, hello, Leon. And Pete, man, that'd be awesome if you bought it, but there are a lot of other great TKL knives, other great Agent knives that don't even come close to having that kind of swedge. So hopefully you could get something like that without the proper forms and taxes, of course. Yes, of course. Forms and taxes. Anyone see the movie Brazil? Forms and taxes. Ben Odie says, today's carry was the Fox OD ATCF green micarta and full tie cold steel 8010. Awesome. I really wanted that Fox OD ATCF and I slept on it. I'm not sure if it's still available, but I think you have to go to Terzawola.net, right, to get that. You had to when it was around. Jacob Green says, my carry today was a Victorinox Hunter, Leatherman Wave, Benchmade Griptilian, and the Kershaw Iridium. That's so funny how people sync up. Like, we'll start talking about the Iridium, and now a bunch of people have had the iridium, or yeah, a lot of people carrying it. It's like how, well, I'm not going to say. James Hart says the Raja 2 XL has a blade thick enough to do lots of tasks, including self-defense, and you know this. Can be opened from the pocket. Yes, I love the Raja 2. My brother got me my Raja 2 from for when we moved into this house. It was a housewarming gift. Scott says, LOL, I got engaged in Crete at Knossos. How cool. How cool. We went there on our honeymoon to Knossos. I think you pronounced the K. And wow, Crete is just so beautiful. Jammin Parker says, today's carry, the ESK knife, Scallywag Tactical Gunner's Mate. Very cool. The new Agent 003, also very cool. RMJ Corbin and the Leatherman Skeletool. Jammin, you are jamming tonight. Very nice carry. Hero Sticks. Oh, speaking of jamming, before I get to Hero, I just want to shout out to him. He gave me this TKL knives. I love this thing. This is the Frogman Tactical. What is this called? The Gideon V3. And this knife, when I wear my weighted vest, you know how I mow the lawn with the weighted vest. I go on hikes with the weighted vest, hoping that I will passively get stronger. But this fits perfectly in the weighted vest. I mean, I guess all of my knives that are set up like this would, but this is just perfect size and perfect like self-defense knife. So Jammin, thanks again. I really appreciate this gift from months back. It's such an awesome gift and fills a void in my TKL collection. So thank you, man. Hero Stick says, carried the Finch Cherry Bomb, the Swiss Army Knife Cadet in red A-locks, and the brilliant and ridiculous Boker Bad Guy. I love that. It is brilliant and ridiculous. That's another knife that Hero loaned me to check out. And it's this big clip point, big fat, broad clip point slip joint. Very cool, man. That knife is awesome. I can't remember the name of the guy who designed it, but I think he's French. Craig Vincent says, Bob, I've recently started collecting the cold steel machetes. That's a fine way to go. I have one cold steel machete, I think. Yeah, the barong, the first barong, where it had it has the more El Salvadorian or traditional machete handle as opposed to the barong shaped handle like this. Leon Latoyer says, the day just beginning. Let me start this from the top. Leon says, the day just beginning. So today I'm going to carry my Vostede Raccoon for work and my Kunwu Pulsar. That's a cool knife. XL for going to town. But I can't wait until tomorrow to get my new Spyderco. Oh, man. It's always, new knife day is always awesome. I love that. This adder bites. Nice to have you here, this adder. Large Sabenza Insingo. Ooh, very nice. I love the Sabenza. I love the Sabenza. It makes, every time I carry it, I'm like, I should get more Chris Reeve knives. And I'm like, what am I thinking? I gotta just slow your roll. I own 18 TKL, finest knives made in the USA, says Nick. Yes, I agree. I love TKL knives. And I love Tim and his wife. They're just great people too. Pete Davidson says, Wiseman makes all sorts of tactical bro stuff, but their Fang wave openers are very functional and they make one to fit most Spydercos. Okay, that's going on the list. Wiseman waves is what I'm going to say. I'll know what that means. And the reason, so I have the 5x5 Tactical Solutions one on my Yojimbo, and I really like it. But I've wanted it on other knives, and either I don't like the way they look, or they look like they won't function the way I want them to, or like on the Yojimbo, the hole is a little far forward for the way they create the 5x5. So it's like almost a little too far towards the tip. Hero Stick says, also big news in the PNW. Pacific Northwest. Sorry. Also, big news in the Pacific Northwest. Out the fronts and side opening autos are now legal. Knife rights probably helped with this, no doubt about that. Microtech Ultratech dagger in my future. Very nice, hero. And you've got a not to remind you, but you have an LUDT. You loaned me that once, and so now you can start actually carrying that. Jacob Vargas says, my carry today is Brock Blades Combat Option and TKL Piranha. I love Brock Blades. Very, very nice choice. I love my Magni XL by Brock Blades, designed by Joe Watson. I'd love to have a Joe Watson knife. His Chris is really sweet, and so is everything else, the Magni. Pete Davidson says, the Agent 001 is the only TKL I'm interested in, really. Oh, wow. And even then, it would be more of a trophy than a user. At this stage of my life, I'm more into users. I have enough trophy knives. But do you really, Pete? But do you really? No, I'm just kidding. I understand what you mean. I feel like my entire collection are trophy knives, and sometimes, you know, it's a little much. But I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining. I carry. Oh, I just said that. Sorry. I wish I brought my Brock Blades out. We'd show it off. James Hart says, okay, I'm off. Take care and see you junkies next week. James, thank you so much for joining. It's always awesome talking with you, and have a great weekend, and be safe and have fun. Craig Vincent says, Bob, I love the barong, but I love the cutlass machete, and love the all-terrain chopper. Oh yeah, the all-terrain chopper. That's the one that looks like it looks like the Vector Storm Vector from Topps, right? But like a sword size. Huge. Ground Fog. Good to have you here, Ground Fog. Always good to see that creepy ass skull in your avatar. Let me show you this since I have it out. My Knives by Nuge Primitive Wicket XL. I just love these kind of sheaths now. These pocket carry ambidextrous style sheaths. A lot of people make them now. I know Gypsy EDC was one of the first guys. I know Tracker Dan and numerous others. But I love them. I love this style of sheath, and this knife just takes the cake. I love this thing. I'm going to be going on a little overnight in the woods trip here soon. It's not going to be much of a trip. I can't really take much time, but I'm desperately yearning to spend a night in the woods and cook over the fire and just listen and not have I'll have my phone, but not be paying attention to the phone or any of that stuff. And I'm going to bring this with me because what a great knife this is. Awesome jute wrap, toasted jute wrap, 80 CRV2, nice spine for throwing sparks. And since it's a primitive model, it also has, besides the jute, it has a Scandi ground blade. Looking forward to that. Who knows when it's going to happen? It was going to happen this week, and then of course this weekend, and then of course a bunch of family stuff has come up. Good family stuff. I'm not complaining, but stuff I need to be here for. So that's not happening this weekend, but sometime soon. And of course I've thought about what knives I'm going to bring, and I'm not going to go totally hog wild, but I'll go somewhat hog wild. And yeah, there will be lots of good knives close at hand. Pete Davidson says, knife laws in Australia just got worse. One state has banned machetes and has placed bins around the city to deposit your illegal machete into at the taxpayer expense. That shit just makes me burn. Oh my God, I hate that. Some pearl clutching, I'll watch my language here, but some useless pearl clutcher who is useless and professionally useless and knows it. It's like, we have to do something. Someone's got to do something. And that's their solution. Let's take away law-abiding people's machetes so that all of the criminals can kill them with their machetes. That stuff just, I hate that. Oh, wait. I just realized, guys, I just ordered I just ordered 5 Zippos. Well, 6, one for me, with the Knife Junkie logo, and I'm going to put them on sale. I'm going to sell a couple of Knife Junkie Zippos. If you guys like fire, you'll love the Knife Junkie Zippo. So when they're here, I'll show them off. And I don't know. I don't know. I just got a bee in my bonnet to get a Zippo with my logo. And then I decided I'll get more and see if anyone wants to buy one. Anyway, William Phillips says, Bob, about to go on my nightly walk. Will carry the Dirk's Slim, Zach's, Dirk's Slim, Zach's D-Pick Original, and Dirk's Navaja Bowie 7-inch. Oh, 7-inch Night Horse style. Okay, William, I know exactly what you're talking about with the Razorback handle. I follow you on Instagram because I've seen the picture of this knife a number of times. And yes, that is an awesome looking knife. The Night Horse with the Razorback. And is that double edged? Something tells me it's not, but doesn't matter. It's so cool. Have a safe walk and enjoy the beauty of the night, especially well armed as you will be. But nice choice of carry there, sir. Nice choice of carry. Jacob Vargas says Armis knife and tool. Yes, he makes them. I was going for Offensive Industries, but yes, Armis makes awesome ones. And I have one that for the generic paring knife sheath that he makes, and then I got his mini VSK one for my my Northman. So yeah, I love his stuff too. His sheaths. Matt Lamana says, Bob, any experience with Kukri House blades? Looking at D-Bad Mission 5. No, I don't. And yes, I want one. The D-Bad Mission knives look awesome. You know what has stopped me in the past from getting a D-Bad Mission is I've shaken his hand, and that guy is a giant. And I know he makes knives to fit his hand. So I'm always like, it's going to be like a sword in my hands. But I have heard they're awesome. And definitely will go the distance. The Mission 5. So that's I want the Mission 3, the one from Rambo 3. I think you should go for it. I've heard good things. Pete Davidson says, hey Bob, does that jute wrap ride against the skin? It does not, because this one just sits in my pocket. But I have this in the smaller neck knife version, also with the jute wrap, and it's my most comfortable neck knife against the skin, which was very counterintuitive to me, because if you ever held untreated, jute wrap, because I say, because this is epoxied and burned, so all of the stray hairs are burned off. It's also epoxied. It's very smooth to the touch. It doesn't hassle. And the jute on the neck knife feels good against the skin. Feels better than G10 or anything else. Ed says, tall boy. Yeah, he is a tall boy. He's a very nice guy too. Wouldn't want to cross that guy, but very, very nice guy. Adrian Fighter 35 says, oh my God, I need that Zippo. Well, this Zippo right here, this is one my brother gave me a long time ago in college. When I was in college, it's got a Vargas girl on it. Mine will be the classic sort of brushed chrome, and it will have it does not have a plaque on it like this. It will just have the printed Knife Junkie logo on there. Leon Natoyer says, what kind of flame will be in the Zippo? The standard kind, the regular wick. If you want to get one of these, I bought this aftermarket. I think this is a Zippo brand. I just like it better for cigars, and that's really what I use this for. But it'll be the regular classic windproof wick. Doug Bull says, Bob, I don't smoke, but I want to get one. I have my father's Zippo. How cool. Oh my God, that he carried when he built World War II fighters. How cool. Your dad was on the line making World War II fighter planes. That's so cool. And you have his classic old Zippo. So it's probably slightly larger and squared off compared to this. William says, yes, Dirk's Navaja Bowie is a bayonet double edge. Oh my God. Gosh, sorry, Lord. My gosh, I want that so badly. You've just instilled some jealousy, not envy, but jealousy. Cody Broadway, nice to have you here, Cody. I'm late getting here. Is Mr. Mike from Northern Knives here tonight? He was. I'm not sure if he's still here, but he did give us this knife that we gave away to a lucky gentleman junkie, Michael Elliott, tonight. So yeah, he's been around this evening. He's probably off now, smoking a cigar. Pete Davidson says, Kukri House stuff is awesome. Very thick blades and edges, but well made and functional. Watch out for rust and take care of the sheath. Thank you, Pete. Thank you. That's much better than my, well, I hear they're great. Excuse me. Pardon me. Terminator Joe says, I own several D-Bad knives, the Mission 3, the Big Jim Bowie, and the Krogall, the Preacher and Old War Bowie, and the Gladiator. Wow, that's quite a few. I'm average size, and they're not heavy to me. So I wasn't worried about the heavy. I'm not worried about the heavy, man. No, I'm just kidding. I was worried about that they would be too big. But shoot, now that we've had a bunch of endorsements, I'm going to have to get one. Plus, I've interviewed him, and part of my goal here as a collector is to have at least one knife from everyone I've interviewed. So it's kind of a moral imperative at this point. The Vince, nice to have you here, Vince. I could have a Sebenza for my only knife. Yeah, I think I could too. They are that good. And before I ever got one, I kind of just thought, oh, it's like the thing to have, and it's just like people love it because other people love it. But no, it's really that good. Scott says, Monkey Edge have the RMJ Patriots Pipe Hawk. I might have to take up smoking. So I've always wondered that. Is the RMJ a working pipe? Dylan Mallory, nice to have you here, good sir. Howdy. The one folder, if I picked one of mine, the Foros. Not one of mine would be the Arcane Praetheon. Ooh, that is a beautiful one. The Praetheon. That's that crazy looking clip point, right? I mean, not crazy looking, but so I have one, and it's the dagger. I love that knife. One of Israel's knives. Pete Davidson says, I have a Kukri or Chukri from Kukri House. It's a shorter Kukri with a full sharpened back clip and buffalo horn handle. I think it would make a formidable guardless edged weapon. Oh my goodness gracious. Chukri. I think I love anything with a sharpened back edge. I mean, I'm easy that way. I think a lot of men are simple in their needs and their wants, and I am. You know, you could take the most anodyne blade design, like the SE6, a classic, awesome design. I've seen them with the sharpened swedge, and it's like drool worthy. Scott says, "Yep, it's a working pipe." You know, I think it's time to. Okay, what movie is this from? Johnny, I've been thinking of taking up smoking, and this clinches it. Pete Davidson says, good luck getting anything from Nepal at the moment. I hear they are chimping out at the moment. Yeah, that's right. I think I've heard something about, are they having some sort of a civil war right now? Are they having a civil war? Heaven forbid. Geez, man, civil war is the worst. Well, nuclear war is probably the worst. But anyway, why split hairs? They're all bad, right? What was I saying before? Now I can't remember. Oh, what do we have here? Knife Notes. Yes, check out Knife Notes. That is awesome. It's a new feature on all level of Patreon. Check that out. We also have Maker Monday, and we have the Friday Funnies. And Jim is busy making Patreon an amazing experience. And I have a feeling that his efforts are a big part of why we retain the amount of patrons we do. And I really appreciate his effort, but also I appreciate you patrons because you're awesome people and you're supporting this show. All right, couple more knives I'm going to show off before we get out of here. Things I haven't shown off in a while. What about this? Lacey Zabo Express by Tops Knives. This is such a sweet knife. And this one comes in single-edged or double-edged. This, of course, is the double-edged version. and it's very, very comfortable. Do you guys know Lacey Zabo? I know you do, but his designs are just so cool. And when I first got this, I was like, is it a dagger or not? And I could sort of tell it wasn't, but the asymmetrical handle was thrown. Johnny Dangerously, Matt LaManna. Oh my gosh. Oh, Matt. Yes, sir. Johnny Dangerously indeed. What a great movie that was. He buys his mother an ashtray for her birthday, and she says, well, I've been thinking of taking up smoking Johnny, and this clinches it. I always thought that was like so funny. But anyway, awesome deep cut pull there, Matt LaManna. Amana after my own heart. Yeah, and I turned it upside down. And I was like, oh, so obviously this is not a dagger. This is an asymmetrical fighter, one of my favorite styles of knife. I love this thing. So, yep, just thought I'd bust this out and show it off since I had it out. Scott Winters, what is your Instagram? It is knife_junkie_podcast. I really hate the search feature of Instagram because you can't, you kind of have to put the exact name in there for it to come up for pretty much everyone I've been searching for. So yeah, knife_junkie_podcast. Now, I warn you, Scott, I've barely posted a thing on there. I use Instagram mostly to learn about new knife makers and to get in touch with them. And before, my old account, before I was kicked off, had a lot of pictures, and now there's virtually nothing. So I need to go start populating that. So it's not the most exciting follow, but it is a way to get in touch with me. Pete Davidson says, I'm sorry, Todd Carr says, Pete Davidson, is that because the loss of de minimis shipping, now that everything has to be paid for duty? De minimis. I wonder if that's how you say the word. Matt LaManna says, Kukri House, they were under curfew and shut down. Sorry, something just flew through here. Uninvited. You are dead now. They were under curfew and shut down, but they're back up and running now. Okay, so Kukri House. Wow, man. So crazy how killed it with the Zabo Hawk. Yeah, and so Lacey Zabo killed it with the Zabo Hawk, and with the also with that cool Spyderco called the Zabo, I believe. But he used to have a website, I don't know if he still does, that had all of his designs, and they are crazy. He has some really cool designs. He was a former Marine and a former law enforcement officer and a martial artist and everything. And you got to check it out. Craig Vincent says, Bob, my Sophie's Choice knife pickup this week was either a Tops Fixie or one of the K-Bar classics. I went with the Becker BK9 Combat Bowie. Very nice choice, man. Yeah, K-Bar classic. Matt LaManna, last question, Bob. BRK Shining Mountain Bowie or V44? Oh my gosh, that's a hard one. If you're talking about V44 from, they're both awesome. The V44, if we're talking about work tough gear, is a full tang. The Shining Mountain is a stick tang. They look different. So looks has something to do with it. But I would say if this is a knife you plan on batoning through wood ad nauseum, I know that the BRK would hold up pretty well because I've done that. But the V44X is a really stout and full tang. That's a hard one. So go with what I said, meaning like take my advice, or not my advice, but what am I trying to say? I think they're both great. One's got a little bit more old school magic to it, the BRK. The V44 is sweet. I don't know. Oh, I'm going to say V44. But Park River Knives, also super awesome. Sorry, Matt. This is a hard one for me. Terminator Joe says the Kukri House Power Hammer Bowie is heavy if you get it 15 inches like I did. Man alive. All right, guys, that just about does it for me. And Jim, And this Thursday Night Knives, I want to thank all of you. Michael Elliott, congratulations on your win tonight. And thank you, one and all, gentlemen junkies, traditional junkies, and tactical junkies. I really, really appreciate you. And come back next week for Thursday Night Knives. We'll have another awesome giveaway. So and a lot of great talk. All right, for Jim working his magic behind the switcher, I'm Bob DeMarco saying until next time, don't take dull for an answer.